Hello, this is Christy Morrison, your Tahoe Truckee real estate expert. We're here with Gina Jones from the Sierra Business Council, and she's going to talk to us about the Martis Fund today. So, Gina, what is the Martis Fund?
The Martis Fund is whenever there's a sale in Martis Camp, there's a percentage of the purchase price that's set aside to go towards the habitat and housing in our area, and the Martis value to preserve the lands in that valley.
Great. And so I've already had two buyers purchase our listings utilizing funds from the Martis Fund.
Yeah.
And one was in Tahoe, another one was up in the Armstrong Trap. So how does someone go about getting funds to, what are those funds designated for? Is it a loan? Like, give us a little more history on how that can help our first home buyer.
Yeah, so the criteria for the Martis Fund is that they cannot have owned a home in the last 12 months. So most first-time home buyer programs are within the last 3 years, but this program is just in the last 12 months. So that's good. And 51% of the qualifying income for the program has to come from the borrower who has a local employer. So they can't be telecommuting with their employer in New York. It has to be a local employer in the region. And the region is all of the Summit, and then west of, down all of Lake Tahoe. So, and then all of Truckee, the town of Truckee. So it has to have a Truckee address as well. So it does Nevada County, Placer County, spreading out over to Homewood. So the first step in qualifying for the Martis Fund, we do have $200,000 left currently. We've closed 2 in the last couple days, and I have 4 in escrow. So we're going through the money quite fast right now. I don't know exactly when we'll get additional funding, but we will. This program's been going since 2006, so it's likely that when that fund replenishes, they'll allocate a portion of that to go towards the housing, which is this first-time homebuyer program. We don't have a minimum credit score, a maximum debt-to-income ratio. If somebody wants to qualify, I direct them to just go get pre-approved with the lender who will be doing their first mortgage. And then I work directly with that lender to ensure that they know about the program, to make sure that their client fits into our guidelines.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you have 4, so let's say, how do you get on the list for the down payment assistance? Do you need a house picked out already, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. We won't officially reserve funds on behalf of any candidates unless they're in contract to purchase a home. But what I will do is happy to review borrowers' files after they've been pre-approved by their lender and have them forward me just to make sure they fit into the box of the Martis Fund program. And then they could be, first in line. But it's a race against if there's other people in line who gets in contract first.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you have to get in contract to get on the list.
To have funds reserved. It's quicker though if they're filed. Like I do kind of a pre-approval of them.
Right. Okay.
Subject to them getting in the contract.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Great. And what are some of the other challenges that people find when trying to use the Martis Fund?
The biggest challenge is finding a property in the price range that people qualify for. Most of the people that are utilizing this fund, well, they have to be a first-time home buyer, being they haven't owned in the last 12 months. But most people that need down payment assistance are in a lower price range, which we're in a second home, more expensive market. So the ones that we closed, their price ranges from about $300,000 up to $575,000 is what I've seen since I've been the program administrator for the program. That's the range of sales prices that I've seen. So it's doable. I mean, we'll do condos. It has a single-family resident condo, townhome, manufactured home if it's on a full permanent foundation. Not a mobile home in a park.
So like coach land?
No, because they have to own the real estate underneath.
Oh, got it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, it's incredible right now how many houses are for sale between 300 to 600, especially if you include Donner Summit and go out to Tahoe. I'd say I know probably 5 or 6 really good properties in great condition right now in that price range. And I would also imagine that with the 3% interest rates right now, that helps people qualify to get a higher priced house than maybe next fall when rates might be 4 to 5%. Well, then your spending power is going to go down.
Yeah, this is a great time to try to slip into this program with how low interest rates are for the first mortgages. I want to just clarify or make a point to that this is a loan, so it's not a grant. So it does have to get paid back, and it does go in second position on the property. So they have two options on how they're going to pay it off. They can choose to pay it off with a 3% interest option, which every month the interest builds. So I do encourage people that choose that option to make payments, even though we don't require it. Now, if they're in the home for 30 years, they never refinance and never sell, then at the end of 30 years, this loan becomes due and payable, in essence, like a balloon payment. You know, most people don't stay in a home for 30 years without refinancing or selling, but it would then become due and payable. And with the interest option, the interest builds and compounds. So it's significant what they're going to end up owing if they don't make payments towards it.
Right.
And then the other option is called shared equity. And so the example, if they take Martis Fund, I want to point out too, they'll loan $50,000 or 10% of the sales price, whichever is less. So $50,000 is the max amount that you can use with the Martis Fund. So if they purchased a home for $350,000 and they got 10% of that, which is $35,000 from the Martis Fund, and in 10 years they sold the home, and it sold for $450,000, then they would owe the Martis Fund 10% of the new value. So it's a shared appreciation kind of situation. So they can't make payments on that option.
Okay.
So they just pay back on the percentage that they borrowed of what it's worth at the time they sell or refi. So when they refi, we'll go off the appraised value.
Oh, okay. So that might be a better option than the 3% a month.
Yeah, it really, I have conference calls, or I'll meet with borrowers in person to really make sure they understand each option. Because it's a big decision to make. So I've been on conference calls with parents and the buyers and the realtors and their lender that's doing their first, just to make sure everybody's clear, because it's a big decision to make.
Yes.
And a lot of it depends on what your foreseeable 5-10 year plan is for your future.
Yes. And so again, it sounds like there is a limited amount of funds available right now. And once it's used up, then we're just going to have to wait for another sale in Martis Camp. Is it the resale or the new construction that you get the funds for?
It's resale.
Resale, so everything that sells from Martis Camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Martis Camp is totally sold out, so there isn't any,
developer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if like somebody sells, and then the 1%, they got to wait till that fund builds up again, and then only a percentage of the fund is going to go towards this housing program. So the other percentages are going to go towards, the Martis Valley, preserving the land, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, what an incredible opportunity to utilize the funds so that you can get into your first home here and stop renting and really have an ownership here in the Tahoe, Truckee area.
Yeah. Anybody has any questions, they can reach me at gkjones@sierrabusiness.org.
Great.
Thanks, Christy.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming, Gina.
Yeah.